Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. And welcome to Morning Brew. Wherever you are, whenever you're watching, I do hope it's a good one. You know, today is but another day, a lovely Friday. Got my coffee. And good morning, Philip Gaming. How are you this morning? Um, let's see here. I got that part in that I'd been waiting for and now don't absolutely need because my internet's sped up some, thankfully. So I'm not having the connection issues I was having before. But I know if I start having them again, all I have to do is just hook it up and there we go, I'm done. So yeah, it'll just be a matter of a couple minutes before I'm able to just hook it up and be ready to go. But Phil hasn't slept yet. Ah, ugh. What's got you up so late? Work or other stuff going on? Because I know that if you've got work going on, you never know when that's going to happen, and so don't know. I'm not going to comment on that, but anyhow, it's a lovely Friday morning. Hopefully, a few people will join in the chat this morning. I did send out a couple of invites, but don't know what's going to happen. Just can't sleep. Tired, but my mind keeps going. Oh, I hate when that happens. Yeah, I've been there myself where physically tired, but yeah, your mind just keeps going. Um, I've found that listening to some YouTube videos can help, particularly like nature sounds. Um, if it can quiet your mind, which it does mine usually. Um, I'll listen to a thunderstorm or a river flowing or something like that, or there are other ones out there. But yeah, trust me, been there myself where my mind was just racing and I couldn't get to sleep. In fact, a couple weeks ago, it was to that point, and so yeah, I just finally had to get up and do something because I couldn't sleep, and I ended up taking a shower, just kind of relax a little bit. And Kapla Bird. And good afternoon, Dr. Alex. How are you today? Hopefully you're doing well. Let's see here. Let me go ahead and put out the link just in case somebody wants to join. And of course, I have to go back over and pin the message. Yes, I could use some company, Dr. Alex. That would be most beneficial if you're available, that is. I know you're not always available, but and I do recommend that anybody who hasn't yet checked out Dr. Alex's channel, go ahead and check it out. I'm sure Dr. Alex will put the link in. Make sure that he's a mod. He can put the link into his channel. And Bert says Mama Pray's still sleeping, so don't want to talk now. Understood. Yeah, let Mama Pray sleep. She needs her sleep. Much better to let her get some rest while she can. It's definitely a different day when she's able to actually sleep in, so that's a good thing. And yes, Dr. Alex did put in his link. Please go check it out.
Hello.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm fine. I do have chores and things I should be doing, but any old excuse not to do them.
Oh, ventilator was making too much noise.
And how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Well, I'm on holiday technically, so I should be good. Although having spent 3 weeks in Santorini, I have zero cash right now, so I'm doing everything as cheaply as possible, which is why I'm doing so much housework and garden work and building anything that I can do without spending any money, basically.
Well, that's one of the benefits of having free time. You can get that stuff done, and it doesn't cost a lot of money.
Yeah, it's good. We've flattened the garden. I don't know if I think we've talked about this garden stuff a bit in the past, but the garden is totally flat now. Flat enough that we've got a pool out. It's 3 meters across pool, about 75 centimeters deep. It's just.
No.
I'm back. I hope.
Yes.
It's just deep enough that if I go in a very tight circle, I can swim in it. But really tight circle.
Well, if you go in a circle enough times, you can create a whirlpool.
Yeah, it's the only way we're going to get done. But yeah, the other thing I've been doing is reinforce, because we lowered bits of the garden to make it level, obviously raise the other bit end. There's bits that are now raised that need edges, so I've been putting retaining wall essentially along all the edges of the garden. So that's the other reason I'm so knackered at the moment. All recycled stuff, from the screws I'm using.
So how is that going? No, go ahead.
About, I'd say about a third of the way through doing the retaining walls. That's one of the things I'm putting off doing right now. I mean, apart from also cleaning the floors in the flat, I'm halfway through that too. I also need to continue doing stuff in the garden, but it is really sunny and hot out there right now, which is great because, as I just mentioned, we now have a pool.
Absolutely. Must be nice to have finally.
Yeah, although I've just gone about how tiny it is and not really big enough to swim in any usual normal way, I feel you feel remarkably good after just 5 minutes dipped in the pool and doing a little splashing around. I feel much calmer afterwards.
Good. That's one of the things I miss having is having a pool. Going out and just being able to get in and, uh, you know, cool off.
Yeah, it's right now very useful. Also, as of today, there is a hose pipe ban, I believe, in where I'm living, so we can't run hose anymore. So I had to get it filled before today.
Ah. Well, you got it filled. That's a good part.
Indeed. Have you heard about the fact that we have hose pipe bans in one of the wettest countries you could find?
No, I hadn't.
It's not the first time. This happened whenever we have a vaguely hot summer. We have hose pipe bans. I suspect not because we're losing water from our water system, that's true, but not because of the lack of water that fell during the winter. It's because our entire water system over here is Victorian and falling apart and has leaks that are not repaired. So it's not my fault.
No.
Do you have similar water restrictions where you are?
Where I am, no. Although they probably should because the water pipes are older than me. So,
Similar problem.
when you're having rust issues and such, it's like, yeah, probably ought to replace them.
Yeah, you're getting lots of rust coming through in your water.
We had some, yeah. So that's one of the reasons I have a filter on the faucet.
I guess that's one advantage we have here. Because we have Victorian stuff, it's mostly made of brick and clay, yeah? But that is falling apart. But we've kind of skipped straight to it being replaced with plastic now. So they bypassed the entire, it didn't bother to use steel at any point as far as I can tell. So they've gone from clay, brick to plastic. So we don't at least have rust coming through in our water here.
Right. Well, so what's been? By the way, I did check out your premiere yesterday.
Which one? Oh, the cartoons I've been restoring.
Yes.
Yeah, they seem to be popular enough. People are enjoying them, and I'm there as much as I can. I'm there for every chat, except when I was on holiday, I was a little less regular. But yeah, they seem to be doing well. I've just uploaded the latest one I put together, which will be episode 11. That'll be out in a couple of weeks' time. And I'm very proud of that because the only versions of the cartoon I can find were one with Greek subtitles. That the audio was pretty bad, but I've restored it. The visuals were really ropey. And then there was an Italian version, which had Italian dialogue, and the visuals were much better, but they'd stretched the screen, so it was the wrong aspect ratio. So I had to correct the screen for that, correct the audio from the other one, marry them together. The audio was slightly out of sync in places with the original, with both of them, to be fair. So I had to cut it back into sync on several occasions. But the final effort has come out really well. By the way, it's Travels of Marco Polo. So in a couple of weeks, when Travels of Marco Polo comes out on my channel, I hope people appreciate the amount of effort I put into getting that into a watchable state.
And in order to, if you want to show appreciation to Dr. Alex for that, you can join his Patreon as well.
That is true. Or Substack. Both now exist, yeah. Oh, that reminds me. Do you want an exclusive for your channel?
Sure.
Okay, so the exclusive for your channel, I intend, as soon as Zvi Lebetkin, the rabbi from another planet, has made the cover for the Doctor Season 14, which is the next book and YouTube series to come out from our stable here, I intend to make a video advertising Season 14, which is not finished yet, but is now 8 out of 14 stories down, so we're getting there.
Awesome.
Thank you. I will put the first episode, because it's fully written up and actually edited in that case, the first episode, I'm going to put that on both Substack and Patreon for the paid subscribers on Substack and Patreon. So they get way early access to the first episode of the Doctor Season 14 ahead of everyone else. I'm also going to make a video on YouTube promoting that fact. But I'm, again, in both cases, waiting for Zvi to get the cover/thumbnail for that series up and running. When that's done, there you go. You heard it here first. There will be exclusive Patreon Substack access to the first episode ever of the Doctor Season 14.
Wow. I'm looking forward to that.
Yay, so am I.
And good morning, Carlo. How are you?
Ooh, hello. Hail Karaga.
I won't correct it this morning since Bird can't come on and correct me. Since Mama Prey is still asleep. We want to let Mama Prey get her sleep. So, no, I saw, what was it? Prince of the Pauper.
Is that the last one I put up? I think the last one I premiered. I imagine it probably was.
And that was actually, I was surprised. I at the quality of it.
Yeah. Again, without wanting to blow my own trumpet too much, I have been cleaning all of these up, both the audio and the video best I can. So they don't always come to me in that condition, but yeah, they are good quality, and they're well written as well and well performed. Voice acting is good.
Mm-hmm. Which I'm amazed by, particularly considering how old they are.
Indeed. Sorry, I was turning off the other tab because either my computer or the internet was struggling with having so many things running.
Right.
But yeah, they are. At the moment, I'm still doing the ones by API, which is the first company, and they run from 1969 through to about 78, 79, and that's the first chunk. I'm almost out of those. Then I go into Burbank, which start in around sort of 1980 and run to sort of like about 1990-ish, I think. But they're all of a similar quality, very similar in their, the lengths of the episodes are the same. Their production quality is very similar. It's so hard to find any information about these two companies because they're both now gone and from a while ago. I feel they must be linked in some way, but I can't see any obvious links in the cast of the crew from one to the other. But they're both Australian. They have a very similar ethos, turning these classic novels into really good quality cartoons.
Mm-hmm.
If anyone out there does know the link between these two companies, both Australian, that I don't know, please tell us in the chat or in the comments or something so I can figure this out, because they look like they should be related just from what they've done, but I can't find a link.
Oh, good grief. That would be good to know. Let's see here now. Like Carlos says, the original Doctor Who was fantastic stories. So many lost in time, though. if we ever make a time machine, I hope there's a first test to go back and collect all the lost episodes. Find out. Oh, oh, that would be an interesting thing to do.
Yeah. Although having gone through recently all of Doctor 1, 2, and 3, I don't think there are any that we don't have the audio for. Because I remember going through all of first and second Doctor, and there are big gaps where you don't get the visuals, but the ones I have anyway, have stills that they took on set while they were filming, and then they've got the original soundtrack that somebody's obviously recorded at home, and then they've managed to get hold of it subsequently. So there's nothing that we have a complete gap for, where it's completely missing. But it's a shame that they are missing the actual video, obviously.
I'm surprised that wasn't there a company that was trying to make, I guess, for lack of a better term, cartoon
Yep.
fill in?
I've got some of those too, and I think they're still doing it, although I'm not quite as up on this as, say, the Rabbi from Another Planet. He's well into this, but I think they're still making them, or someone is still trying to do the cartoonized versions, particularly the second Doctor.
Ooh. That's when I like the second Doctor. That's why I'm interested in seeing those.
Yeah. Yeah, the second Doctor, it was great watching him essentially for the first time, and I guess earlier this year, I suppose it would have been. Because I did remember him as a kid, but he was very, very rarely on telly because they didn't have that much, and they were too busy showing the current stuff. And the first Doctor I saw even less of. But the second Doctor was the first one that I had, even as a child, I recognised him as a Doctor, and I had some warmth towards that character, and also Pertwee as well. So yeah, I would like to see more of that restored too.
So what other housework are you working on? I know you got that one area built up in the back, but
well, as I said, I've got to finish washing the floors in here, which I will do shortly. Not this second. Reinforcing the edging. I've sown more grass seed, although I can't put any water on it now, so that grass seed is going to just get eaten by the birds. What else do I need to do? It made me think now. I'm not sure. I'm sure there are other household things I need to do, but also there are other video things I need to do as well, as I've already mentioned a couple of things just now.
And good morning, NB Geek. Carlo preferred William Hartnell.
I much more appreciate William Hartnell now than I did in the couple of instances I saw him as a child. As a child, when they reran a couple of his episodes, I just didn't like this cold, authoritarian, strict thing that was the first Doctor. When I watched it again for the first time, really, from An Unearthly Child, which I had seen before, all the way through, I really appreciated the first Doctor for the first time in a way that I never did before. And yeah, I like the first Doctor as well. When the first Doctor ended, I felt a pang of, oh no, that's it then. Similarly, when the second Doctor ended, I felt that same kick that, oh no, we've lost him. And when he reappeared in the Three Doctors, it was a very strange thing. I was really enjoying Pertwee, but when Troughton came back on screen for the first time in that story, I was like, oh, there's the Doctor. And I never thought I'd think that about him. I never thought that he would somehow overshadow Pertwee, but he does. Troughton was really strong. But yeah, I appreciate William Hartnell now much more than I ever used to.
Oh, you can tell I'm learning because all he said was William, so I just remembered that one.
Yeah, I must have been doing this too much.
So how is that going with you, NB Geek, watching Hamlet? He says going to watch Hamlet with the actor who played the second Doctor.
I'm going to assume this is a very old recording of it, given he's unfortunately passed on long ago. Well, not that long ago, but a longish ago.
I'm assuming it is an older recording.
Although I do like Patrick Troughton in various other roles he's played, because he was just a tremendous character actor. I mean, you've probably seen Jason and the Argonauts, I imagine.
That's a good question.
You've never seen the Skeleton Warriors fighting Jason and the crew?
No.
Oh my God. Okay, you need to go. At the end of this stream, go and get hold of Jason and the Argonauts. I think it's 1959, maybe into the 60s just, but it's pretty old, but it's brilliant. Not just for the fighting the Skeleton Warriors scene, which is one of the best stop frame animation you'll ever see in a film. Patrick Troughton plays the blind priest whose name I forget, but he's being tortured by the Harpies. 48. Wow. That is a way back. But yeah, Patrick Troughton played the blind priest, was excellent in that, and really steals the scene again from everyone else around him. And he's also, of course, I think it's Melanthius, the wizard philosopher from Sinbad and the Eye of the Tiger, which had Jane Seymour in it, among others, and also John Wayne's son, Patrick Wayne, played the hero. But anyway, again, Patrick Troughton kind of steals the scene as Melanthius the wizard. Is amazing. So he only did, as a kid, he did a small series called The Box of Delights, again as a wizardy type character, as a children's series. It was a brilliant series. Again, Patrick Troughton drives everything he's in, really, even as a supporting character. We have someone else.
So, Dr. Alex, you perked my... I wasn't even going to come in, but you kind of perked my ears up with Jason and the Argonauts.
Which he has to see, yeah?
No, I've seen it. I watched it a long time.
Yeah, but he has to see it.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even know. I'd have to rewatch it again to see Troughton, because it's just been so long. And when I saw it, Doctor Who wasn't a thing in America at that time, except for maybe a very, very small group of people who knew about it. It wasn't really until, when The Eighth Doctor, that movie came out, unfortunately, what really, I think, and this is my personal opinion, but I think what really did that one in was the fact that it came out in America, and we watched it and we had no idea what was going on.
Yeah, I can understand that. I mean, I had different objections from a knowing Doctor Who side, but yeah, even though it was meant to kind of hang free a bit from what had gone before, it didn't. I mean, you kind of helped to know what Doctor Who was, to know who was the master, who's being put on trial, what the hell's going on. I can totally get why you'd be cut adrift from it. Plus, it wasn't the best script ever. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't the best. Paul McGann was brilliant as the Doctor, and obviously drags the movie through with his own presence and acting ability, but it wasn't the strongest script we've ever had.
No, he was, when I heard him in his Big Finish productions, I thought, damn, I was like, this guy could have had a great Doctor Who career.
Oh, yeah.
Unfortunately, we started with, it starts out with Sylvester McCoy,
Yes.
and then he, and I'm like, I have no idea who this guy is. And then all of a sudden he gets shot.
Yes.
And then,
sorry, that was a reaction of old me.
And then Paul McGann shows up, and I don't remember the exact year it came out, but I was young. I was like maybe
96, I think, or 97. I can't remember exactly, one of those two.
Yeah, and I was like 14 or 15 at the time, and I'm just sitting there scratching. And there's no internet. You got to remember, there's no fucking internet, so I had no clue what was happening, and it wasn't until I started.
Yes, there was. I was playing End of the Line back then, and
okay, I didn't have internet. It wasn't. Oh, come on. It was dial-up, for God's sakes.
That is
Oh,
true.
it was dial-up. You're right.
I was working for an ISP back then, and dealing with a lot of dial-up problems.
And it wasn't until I started watching, which I thought William Hartnell was great. I kind of like those. Sean Pertwee was my favorite for a while when I went through, just because I really liked him. I liked his energy.
Yeah.
And but Hartnell and Troughton were decent. The only problem I had with Troughton, and it's not Troughton's fault, a lot of his episodes got shit canned, and so you don't get the video. I mean, you can get some of the animated ones and the still photos and the audio, but I thought that was pretty. They were pretty good, and it was kind of interesting to follow. And then I get to the Paul McGann one, and then I realized, oh shit, I saw this back in the 90s. But it made a whole lot more sense now.
Yeah, and it's not terrible. Every time I say this, I don't want to sound like bloody Chimbal. It could have been so much better. Yeah. Until we saw your crap, and now we know what it could have been so much worse, much worse. But yeah, I mean, the movie was fun. I mean, me and my two flatmates, all of us Whovians, writing and editing Doctor Who stuff even back then, we all enjoyed the movie. There were bits that we felt could have been better, or the pitch wasn't quite right, but it was great fun. And even Sylvester McCoy, although I know all three of us went yes when he got shot in the alleyway, with hindsight, he did a good job. He cared about the character. He approached it with intelligence. Things which can not be said at all about the Chimbal era.
I'm gonna be honest. I haven't seen the current Doctor incarnation, except for one episode.
Neither have I. I can only go on. Well, I've seen the reviews, and that had clips of the episodes in. But no, I wouldn't want to spoil or destroy my love of Doctor Who by watching any of the crap that Chimbal's put out.
Well, I didn't care for. Honestly, I did not care for. Who was the 13th Doctor? I'm sorry, I'm still waking up. I don't have.
Jodie Whittaker.
No, the one before. Sorry, the 12th. The one before.
Peter Capaldi, brilliant.
Peter Capaldi.
But
yes, brilliant. Unfortunately,
the writing
that third season, Bill just drove me absolutely. You know how what was her name? Was it Claire or something like that? Yeah. You know how she annoyed the shit out of a lot of people.
Yes,
that's what Bill was to me. And yes, I'm going to say why, because she had to every 5 minutes remind you she's gay.
Yeah, even without the specifics, the writing was going off the boil with Moffat towards the end of his run. He just was either distracted, or there were external influences coming from the BBC, perhaps, that were pushing the writing off kilter. But it was definitely going downhill. It wasn't terrible. God, I just keep thinking of that bloody clip of Chimbal as a kid. But it could have been so much better. But I do think Capaldi is a brilliant actor, and was unfortunately wasted with scripts that were not really didn't match his level.
Yeah, I loved him in The Musketeers, where he played the Cardinal. That first season, I was like, oh man, I was like, damn, I love the, Tim Curry playing it back in the day, but I was like, damn.
Never mind Tim Curry, Charlton Heston, best Richelieu ever.
Another thing interesting you mentioned when I said Hamlet, and the reason why I asked people for a good Hamlet movie, because I'm reading it for the first time, and I want to watch the movie because I feel like I should be watching it while reading it, then I'll be able to understand even more of it. And I've gotten through a little bit of it. I just haven't had time because it's about 2.5 hours long. But I did go through the cast, and I saw that Troughton was in there and Peter Cushing.
In which one?
The 1948 Hamlet.
Ah, right, okay, yeah. Cushing as well, excellent.
Yes, I haven't seen him come up yet. I haven't gotten past I haven't had a chance to get past where they take Horatio up and he sees the ghost of the king. Or does he? Or do they? But as I've been reading it, and I'm not trying to hijack. As I've been reading it and been able to start understanding as I've been corrected, I kept saying Old English, the more Middle English. I've been able to understand more of Hamlet and his pain and his just slow. He slowly looks like he's going mad.
Yeah.
And he has this.
It was coming.
Yep, I actually said that to someone not too long ago. Actually, I know.
No.
I think you're. It sounds like there's an echo on your end, Doctor.
Down quite low level, but let's see if I can make it above. Now I won't be able to hear anything.
Nope. You haven't experienced Shakespeare until you've read it in the original Klingon. I actually know people who I don't know if they've ever actually made Hamlet like that, but or Shakespeare like that in Klingon. But I've heard people who would love to have it.
Oh,
I would
yeah.
actually. Now, here's the thing. I'm not an opera guy or a play guy, but could you imagine a Klingon opera doing Hamlet? And the reason why I picked Hamlet first was because it was always, I was like, if I ever read Shakespeare, that is going to be the first one because it's the one I'd heard so much about. I did not want it to be Romeo and Juliet. I thought that was cliche.
Yes, what I had to study in school.
We did not. We did not. They did not do. I mean, maybe some of the advanced classes would do that.
Oh, yeah.
I read two of my personal favorites because I was very huge into Greek mythology back then. I got the Iliad and the Odyssey from the local library, and had to get a call from them reminding me to return them because I read them like 3 times, and I didn't turn it back. I was like, "Oh shit, I gotta take this back." Because I love Greek mythology. I absolutely love it.
And good morning, Gorilla's Random Thoughts. And according to Bird, they did Hamlet in Klingon. He has it.
Really?
In the original Klingon.
You know, I don't know if any of you all know this. Some people I know have heard. Do you know they did the original trilogy of Star Wars in the form of Shakespeare?
I knew I'd heard that somewhere.
Yeah, it's actually out there. You can just look it up. Star Wars just look up Amazon like Star Wars Shakespeare. They did it in that. I actually, once I get through this and once I get through Hamlet and Macbeth, because those are the first 2 I want to read, maybe eventually once I get this Middle English down pat, I might buy that. I think I'll buy those. And I must say, the unicorn for me was trying to understand that form of English. And now that I'm having a better time understanding it, I'm actually really enjoying it and embracing it. And I'm like, oh, now I'm getting what everybody was talking about. Or starting to, at least.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to be no classic like Free on the Clone.
I hope you don't mind. I'm going to mute the camera and the video for a second while I do step 1 of the chores. But I'm going to keep in here.
No problem.
No problem. Oh, Joker's voice says he has the Star Wars in Shakespeare books. How's your morning, Cap?
Doing well. Yeah, Joker voice. He has a Star Wars and Shakespeare book. That's cool.
Hey, Joker's voice. I have a question on that. Does the book have, like, say, the opening crawl in Shakespearean wording? I don't know if it has a crawl. They have the crawls in them or not. I'm actually curious.
Ah, how do you mute a camera? Easy. If you have audio coming from the camera, you mute the camera.
There you go. And my dogs are going to be unhappy today. They got to go to the Holiday World tomorrow. We'll only be gone. Well, we'll only be on a couple of days. We're going to go do like the water park in the morning, and then probably do the other side later that day. This is going to be kind of a 1-day thing, and then what we'll do is we'll do the hotel and probably stay in the pool and do late checkout, and then head back because it's about 2 hours away. So I mean, it's not a long drive. It's not that bad of a drive. It's not a long drive. And actually, my daughter went with her friend and her parent and their parents a few weeks ago. So she's pretty much going to be our tour guide. And she came back and she absolutely loved it.
Sounds wonderful.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be my only, real vacation in the gotten like 2.5, 3 years at best.
Oh, I haven't been on vacation in 10 years. Not a real vacation.
I told my wife, I said, let's start thinking about places we'd like to go. Now, the thing is, we have a certain distance we don't want to have to drive past because, the cost of everything. But
yeah.
I did tell her there is one place I've always wanted to go that I never got to. I've never been to Branson, Missouri. Have you?
Oh, yeah. Many times.
You're going to have to send me some recommendations on what I should see because I have not been there. I've heard about it. I used to remember, and I'm sure you've seen them on TV, the ads for Branson, Missouri, and I'm just like, I've always wanted to go there.
I highly suggest going to the particularly if you're an Elvis fan, going to the Elvis impersonator, who is quite good.
I've never seen one of those. That is one regret I have about the fact that when I was in Vegas was when I first went there, I wasn't old enough to go into any of the casinos. The second time I went, I just didn't have time to stop. And I don't gamble, but I wanted to go see some of the shows.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's one of the great benefits of the casinos are the shows that they have. And good morning, Joker Voice.
I'm sorry, did someone say Las Vegas? That's where I live.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that was nice. That was good.
I know, huh? So, Grandpa Geek, as far as the Shakespeare and Star Wars book, did they do the opening crawl in Shakespeare? I have not read that book in some time. I couldn't tell you.
Oh, okay. I can look it up on Amazon, I'm sure.
But how are we, folks? How are we doing today? I just got done watching the movie Prey at work, and I was going to do a reaction video. But then I saw that these lovely people were here, and I have not talked to you, Captain, in quite some time. So I figure, why not jump on?
Oh, absolutely. Well, I'm looking forward to your reaction video.
Yes, it'll be a non-spoiler now review. But is it a masterpiece? No. Is it meh? Sure. That is my short. That's the short. That is the short. That's the short version of it.
Cool.
Yeah, so I have a question. So Joker's voice. I have a question. Do you have a particular favorite actor who played the Joker?
Oh, if you can't tell by the voice, it's definitely Mark Hamill.
Okay. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I kind of figured that. And I asked that because we had one time at my work, and it's just a bunch of geeks in the Air Force and contractors, and they were talking about who's their favorite. It was either Jack Nicholson or Heath Ledger, and somebody asked me, and I said, "The best Joker is Mark Hamill." And one of my coworkers looks at me, and he goes, "Yeah, I'm with Jesse on that one."
Absolutely. And the reason I say this is if you read a comic book or if you read anything about moi, what voice is in your head? It's Mark
Mark
Hamill's
Hamill.
voice.
Yep.
Yeah, Mark. Yes. And every time I read a Batman comic, Kevin Conroy's voice is what I hear.
Absolutely, which is why I say that the Batman, the animated series, to date has the most definitive Batman story.
Yes, I actually own all of Batman, Batman Beyond, the Supermans, the Justice League, and the Justice League Unlimited.
Very nice.
Interesting. I saw a interview with Kevin Conroy.
Mhm.
I don't know how long ago it was done, but he said, being a voice actor, most people, never know who you are. So he said he was walking down the street of near this is during the Batman and stuff run. He said he was walking down the jaywalking in New York, and he's like, nobody ever gets pulled over for jaywalking in New York. And he says the cops hit the light on there, and he's like, "What? This is crap. They're getting me for jaywalking." The guy got on the radio. Was, Batman, step to the curb.
That's awesome.
And he just said he smiled and he's like, "You know who I am?" He goes, "Everybody knows who you are. We just want to get a picture with you."
That's awesome. Because Kevin will be at a con, and his booth, and the other celebs that they got their booth, their little, and they got their lines or whatever. Kevin's line is long. I mean, ridiculously long. And like every half an hour, he will stand up and just go, "I am vengeance. I am the night. I am Batman." The entire floor just erupts.
I would love to see him at a con. I haven't yet, but I did know he does that. And it's amazing because some people, some actors, they get tired of being compared to the same character. He has embraced being Batman.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And unfortunately, e- due to the economy, thanks, Joe, I will not be going to my favorite con in Salt Lake in September, and I'm a little bummed because my favorite Harley Quinn is going to be there. That being Tara Strong.
And for those of you out there who don't know this, Harley Quinn originated in the Batman animated series. She did not originate in the comics, but they eventually put her in.
Well, boys, I have to step off now because I have a customer.
Absolutely.
But I will talk to you guys again soon.
All right,
you have
take
a good
care,
day.
All right, guys.
Cap, do you ever get a chance to go to a con?
I have not been to one. I've been to one years ago, and it was fun, but it wasn't, an experience. I'll just put it that way.
So, no, go ahead. Sorry,
but I would like to get the chance to go to one of these days.
The last one I went to was, I think I told you, a couple years ago. It was right after Shatner got back from space. I know you've seen the photo of me and my wife together with him.
Mm-hmm.
And we got to meet also the kid from the one who played Carl in The Walking Dead. And I got to tell you, what a sweet kid. And I mean that and I say that because he took a lot of time to talk to people. And at one point he had this lady was like, she had a family member who had COVID, so they couldn't make it, and asked if he would do a quick video chat with her. And he was totally fine with it.
Need a few thousand to go to a con. Yeah, exactly.
Now the longest line was, believe it or not William Shatner's. The longest line was to see the American voice actor who voices Naruto. It took my son 2 hours just to go meet her and get a autograph and a picture. And
Cool.
yeah, and I admire him for being able to have that kind of patience at 14 years old or 13.
Oh, yeah.
He was either 13 or 14, but he really wanted me. And you had the line snaking around. And I went over and I was talking to somebody else. I think I was talking to the guy who played Carl. And my son walked across the aisle over there to go to the next part of the line. And this lady tried to tell my son that he was cutting in line. And my wife just lost it on her.
Huh.
Because she didn't realize my wife was, and then Rachel stayed with him the whole time after that. Because I swear to God, if I'd gotten back over there and she made him go back to London, I would have gotten up. I said, "Show me where this person is." I was like, "Show me." It's
Exactly.
I'm like, my son's been waiting a goddamn hour and a half to get on this side of it, and you just kicked him out. Because my son is, he's young. He's not going to argue with an adult like that.
No.
I would have been like, "You're letting my son back in this line right fucking now." Some of the cosplay was really nice. We had one of the first ones I saw was a gentleman who, was very fit and had a, classic He-Man. And I'm talking sword, shield, and axe.
Mm-hmm.
When we left, are you familiar with the game Horizon Zero Dawn or Horizon Forbidden West?
Heard the name, but that's about it.
The protagonist in it her name is Aloy, and she's my son. He loves those games. I love them. He loves the character of Aloy, and as we were leaving, there was a lady who literally was walking by, and I was like, AJ, it's Aloy. It was the only person who actually had an Aloy costume. I mean, she had it down pat. And she had the hair done right. She had the bow looking right. She had, just the outfit done well. And I said, and she said she spent 2 years putting that outfit together. I said, you need to go. I told her, I was like, you need to go over there and register at the cosplay win, because I think you got a shot at winning something, because she was the only person in that outfit.
Mm-hmm.
And
it was good
very
thinking.
Yeah. And it was absolutely gorgeous.
Well, you have a good day, Carlo.
Take care, Carlo. One of the great things I got to do, and one of the key people I wanted to see at that con, was meeting Michael Stackpole. And if you're not familiar with him, he's one of he did the writing for many Star Wars EU books and comics, one of them being the parts of the X-Wing series with Alan Alston. And I really got to I got to spend about 30 minutes talking with him, asking him about how he came up with Koran Horn. And I said, I asked him about what made you think to do I, Jedi, that was in between the Jedi Academy trilogy. And here's what he told me that was interesting. So in I, Jedi, it's from it was the first time a first person perspective had been put into a Star Wars book. Right. And I said, why did you put it in between in the Jedi Academy trilogy? And he talked to the author. I think it was Kevin J. Anderson who wrote it. I'd have to look. But he was like, I talked with, he's like, I talked with the author who did that. And he said, there was 11 Jedi students that Luke had or something like that. But he said he only named 5 of them. And he told Michael, the Stackpole, that he did that on purpose. So if anybody wanted to add another character in there, it would not break canon.
Mm-hmm.
That's how close these guys actually worked with each other.
I like that. I do. Wow.
Yeah, that was interesting. And he wrote the comic Union, which was Mara Jade and Luke Skywalker getting married. So, of course, when I found out he was going to be there, I took a few books and comics and got them signed.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you'd be an idiot not to. Yeah. But yeah, real great guy. The funny thing was I took my first the first X-Wing book he did. And dude, that thing is like 20 years old. So it's been read a few times. You know, it's a little
I'm sure.
It's a little on the worn side. And
Of course.
but yeah, I did ask him that question. I said, was it your intention for Corran Horn to always end up becoming a Jedi? And he goes, oh, yes.
Cool. And good morning, Mexican Iron Man, who's listening while heading to work. Welcome back this week. Well, I'm glad you stopped by, Mexican Iron Man. I was getting ready to go ahead and close things up because I'm going to be going over to Loki's Mornings of Mischief. So anyone who wants to go over there, please feel free.
I wonder what the topic is today.
I'm not sure. We'll have to find out. But I do want to thank everybody for joining today. Please do like, share, subscribe, all the normal stuff. And again, thank you for watching. Have a great day.
Oh, he said he's listening